Hello, I'm Eric Combs with the Facebook blogs Thoughts from a Beginning Band Director and Sound Beginnings Beginner Band Series. I'm super excited about today's episode because we're going to talk about what if we were able to pull up any point of any song ever during any rehearsal. What would the implications of that be for us as band directors and for our rehearsals? And is that even possible? Would it be a miracle? I think not. Yesterday while I was rehearsing, I had the idea for an interactive score. Now, an interactive score would be a score that would instantly allow you and your students to hear the music from any measure. Now, like all of my ideas, it came because I was having some difficulties with the lesson I was teaching. I was wanting to play a song from a particular spot so they could hear the balance and the blend of it. And I knew I had a recording of it somewhere. So I stopped rehearsal, went and got my computer, tried to find it. Once I finally found it and got it loaded, I had to find the point in the music, and then I overshot it and I had to go back and find it again. And I was thinking to myself, this is ridiculous, I'm wasting so much time, it's not even worth it. And I thought, what if I could just make it instantly play? And then I thought, you know what? What if I could make it instantly play? And I did exactly that. It took me about an hour to make this interactive score. And using QR codes, I can take my phone now and I can zoom in on one of the codes and play from any point in that score. I need to tell you that this is not a how-to video, this is a what-if video. What if we could do this? And now we can. This took me about an hour. I am using the song Hercules versus the Hydra by Scott Watson through Alfred Music. I love this piece of music and so do the kids. It's a grade 2 medium easy. We do it all the time because the kids are always asking me for it. We've done it at talent shows, fairs. It's one of their favorites. But I have mapped out the major phrase beginnings and rehearsal markings, and that's what the numbers are here. And I've generated a QR code to go with each one of those major measures. This QR code links to a sound file that I've put on the internet that starts from that particular measure. Whenever you take your phone, if it's a smartphone, I've got an iPhone here and I've got the camera out, and you point it at one of these. I'm just going to point it at measure 96 here. It's going to say that it's pulling up a website, and you can see it's going to immediately play. Next, what I did was I cut all of these out and I went into the score and I just pasted them in the score. And then whenever I get to that measure, if I want to play it and let the kids hear it, I simply point my smartphone at that and it plays from that measure. At the front of my classroom, I have two Bluetooth speakers, one there, one there. This is the Yamaha StagePass 600. I love these things. They put out so much sound. They sound great. And as I mentioned, they are Bluetooth. So with the press of a button on the back of that and the press of the button on my phone, I can instantly have all sounds from my phone go over these speakers. So when I pull up a QR code and it immediately starts playing without even pushing play on my phone, it comes through the speakers. Imagine the implications of this with your rehearsal. I all the time want the bands to hear examples. And a lot of times I just sing them to them because it's too hard to go over to the computer and pull something up. And it kind of breaks the flow of the rehearsal. I want my rehearsal to be fast-paced, and if I want them to hear an example, I want them to hear it right then and there, and I don't want to have to find it on a recording. So, I wouldn't have to use these recordings all the time, but if at any point I did want them to hear something, an example, I can pull it up. For instance, say that we're talking about the legato clarinet part at measure 46, and I want them to hear the balance. So instead of explaining the balance, I just say, hey, we're at 46, listen to it. And we can talk about how legato it is, how smooth it is, and there they have an example right there. There's another spot where the clarinets go back and forth with each other, and the first clarinet's going da 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 da, the second clarinet comes in da 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 da, and we're always talking about how we want them to match and sound like it's one instrument that's playing. Instead of trying to explain that, why not just show them, hey, that's at measure 40, take a look at it. And they can hear it going back and forth. There's another spot in this song, it's measure 28, where the first flutes and the first altos are going dut 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 the second flutes and the second altos at the same place are going dot, 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 dot. And instead of trying to explain to them what's going on right there, I can just say, hey, take a look at measure 28 and hear how these go back and forth with one another. There is another spot in this song, I'm going to pause it. There's another spot in this song where the full band has 1 and 2, 3, 4, and I always do a pretty bad job of trying to sing that to them, because what I want them to do is I want them to hear the accents that they have on beat 2 and 4, and I try to explain it. And wouldn't it be easier just to say, hey, open up your song here to measure 9. Listen to the accents. And you can see how fast I'm doing this. At 62, there's this really majestic spot where all of the whole note people are always overpowering the quarter note people, the people with the melody. And the balance is way off. You can either try to explain to them what the balance is supposed to sound like, or what you could do is you could just say, hey, go to measure 62, listen to what the melody is. And you can see how fast I was able to do all this, and I didn't have to search for anything. Now, some days I might not use any of these QR codes, some days I might want to use them, and if my phone's always there, I can always pull up anything instantly. For you techies out there that are wondering how I did this, it was really simple. I got the original sound file off of the internet because all of those sound files are out there. And then I edited them with Audacity. Now Audacity can be downloaded from the internet for free, and it's just sound editing software. So I was able to create sound files starting at each one of those measures. So I have a different sound file starting from each measure. I then uploaded those sound files to my own website, which generated an HTML code for it. Of course, I then took it and copied it and pasted it into a QR code generator. All you got to do is Google QR code generator. Whenever you paste anything in there, it comes up with a QR code. And then you just have to copy and save that image. And I put it in a Word document, and then whenever you print it out, you open it up with your phone, and it automatically plays from that spot. So I am fairly tech savvy, so I was able to do that in about an hour. Think of the implications here. Now, I showed you how I could use that in a rehearsal. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do that with every single song that we do, but like if I have a song that I'm wanting to record for Illinois Superstate, for example, which is what I'm wanting to do with this one, then it's good to be able to have the kids hear these things, try to match them. I don't do that with every single song. We don't listen to examples of every single song, but sometimes you want the band just to try to sound as professional as possible, and you want them to copy something so that they can learn how to do that. So for a rehearsal, it makes for it being really easy to do those kind of things. But what about other implications? What if publishers were to publish scores that had this in it? What if you could go to Midwest and you could browse through music and you could see some of these QR codes either on the front cover of the music so you can just scan it and you can hear it, or maybe throughout the music? Can you imagine going to Midwest with your phone and maybe some headphones, and you can just go up to any one of the songs that you see advertised there and immediately hear it? Or maybe you want to hear what the finale sounds like. Maybe you want to go 8 minutes into it. Open up to that page, scan that measure, you can hear it exactly from there. That would be really cool for advertisement purposes. Another use that I thought of is marching band. Now, I've taught marching band for 1 year, and I did something similar to this, but not using QR codes. What I did was I used Audacity, and I made recordings of the song starting from every set. So like if set 8 starts on measure 50, I had a recording that started on measure 50, but what I did is I put 4 count-off clicks before it. So then, imagine if you were to put a QR code on every drill sheet. So the kids can open up set 3, and you can have them get set in set 3. All you got to do is scan it with your phone that's connected to the Bluetooth speakers, and immediately what they hear is a count off. 1, 2, ready, march. And they start marching, and they hear the music from that point. Now, they're not using their instruments, they're just learning the drill, but they can march it with that music playing in the background, and you can do it from any set. You could go to the closer, and you could be marching the very last set of the closer. They open it up to those drill charts, director scans it, drum major scans it, whoever scans it, and immediately, once everybody's set, 1, 1, 2, ready, march, and they get to march that, and they get to hear what point of the music they're in. They could even use it at home for practice. Parts could have this in it, the kids' parts, so that they could go home and they could be practicing from measure 50, and all they had to do is scan it and hear 1, 2, ready, go, and they could start playing it. Something to think about.